There is an advisory warning at the beginning of this music video, and so there's going to be an advisory warning at the beginning of my video as well. Agust's Amygdala is a music video that does contain images of self-harm and or suicide, and so if that's not something that you can view right now, if that's not something that would be healthy for you, please look after yourself and don't watch this. There are plenty of other ways to listen to Amygdala and to support Augusti and Suga, and plenty of other great videos to watch of his and also of BTS, so there's no need to watch this video if seeing references to self-harm is something that is not going to be safe or healthy for you. And you do not need to watch this video for me either. I have plenty of other reaction videos that you can go and check out. I recently did Hagum, which is also violent, but it does not contain self-harm topic. And I've made an entire playlist of just like comforting and healing reactions that I've done. So if that's more the kind of place you are right now, definitely go check those out and just give this one a skip. Suga has mentioned that in Amygdala we learn where the scar that Augusti has in most of the previous videos, where that scar came from, and that it is a self-inflicted wound. And so I believe we're going to see that in this. So again, if this is not something that you should be watching right now, please just click away. And don't worry about it. Times are really hard and you gotta make sure that you're looking after you. So if you really need to click away, please do so. We are gonna go ahead and get on into this. Here we go. Oh, this is gonna be about Suga's. This is gonna be a little bit more closer to home, real life, because he's been very open about the fact that he messed up his shoulder when a car hit him when he was being a delivery driver. Back when BTS were not doing so hot, back in the very early days. So he is pretty much up till it was 2020, wasn't it, when he finally got it fixed, his shoulder fixed. Right after he dropped Desh with Ta, got his shoulder fixed, which is phenomenal timing, sir. But he has been very open. But he performed as BTS with a completely messed up shoulder for many years. And I believe, based on him being a delivery driver in this video, and then the depression that we're seeing here with him lying on the couch, which in the dark room, I believe we're going to get into that. So if you if you're like me and having some second thoughts about what your capability of watching this video and still saying well, we'll trust Suga, but yeah, click away if you need to click away, because I believe we're going to get into more than just self-harm in this one. So he's starting off saying, I don't know your name. He says, traveling through memories, things I want to erase. How are you feeling lately? This juxtapose the innocence of just, riding your motor scooter, doing your deliveries, and just lying on the couch feeling hopeless, which is hard to watch. Okay, and so now he's even at the point where he's dissociating from himself. This is going to be a heavy video, you guys. So 1993, the month I was born, mom's heart surgery. Man, that's his poor mom giving birth and getting heart surgery in the same month. That is very hard. A whole lot was happening back then, which is probably the understatement of the year, and yet feels very heavy. And look, this set, So dissociating from himself, standing between the door and the depressed person who can't even get up off the couch. But it's also on this floating platform in this void of darkness. If that's not the exact image of depression, I don't know what would be. I don't know why things are so hectic. And here, the sitting and just the slowly eating something. Would like maybe watching a movie, maybe watching this as himself as a movie, like further dissociating. I'm gonna bring back the memories I can't even remember. Let's unpack them one by one. And he's reaching for himself. So the best choice, and this is tough. The best choice, and he shows the razor. The second best choice, and he's showing the razor again in just a flash. And the third best choice. So all this is a choice that repeated getting back on that motor scooter again. And so what he's eating from his hand is most likely pills. Very common method of suicide. Of course, the self-inflicting the wound, as we just repeatedly see this car accident. This thing that honestly consumed his life. Again, I don't think anyone except for maybe not even Sugar realize. You don't necessarily realize how much pain you're in if you're in pain all of the time until there's no pain suddenly. You're like, actually, my scale of like, my 1 to 10, and I kept saying I was a 5, that was a 10 the whole time. Things I never asked for. Things that are out of my control. And again, like what is probably pills. Let's put them back in one after another. And now we're coming in. The scar is now here. And the scar is almost a defense mechanism, right? Like now there's this ugly scar that you can see on, which is very often when people self-harm. Now there's something ugly and painful and visceral you can see, like there's an obvious wound, and so now it makes sense why I'm feeling the pain like there is the wound, because now there is one that everyone can see. And in some ways that may feel cathartic to some people, even though it's not solving the problem, it's making the problem quite a bit worse. It can feel like at least there's a reason and there's wound. Like depression is it's not even stigmatized so much as it's so hidden, like you can hide it for so long for everyone except for yourself, to the point where it can be so detrimental to your life and other people may not recognize that that's what's going on with you because you're hiding it so well, because it's all happening internally and it's as painful as an outward wound would be, and coupled with an outward wound that's then causing you to not be able to do what you want, not feel good, can't sleep. Having some kind of a marker to show that can feel like it feels good even though it's only making the problem worse. So it's getting just very heavy and sad, and then this cry for help, and amygdala. I should have started with amygdala, right? The amygdala is the part of your brain that helps you, like, I think feel emotions. I think it's the part of the brain that feels the emotions rather than the processing the emotions. Actually, it's a cry to feel anything, isn't it? My amygdala, please let me out. Please save me. Erase them one by one. Just let me feel something, almost, right? Let me feel something, or let me not feel this pain. We're gonna unpack less because I'm gonna cry. So yeah, the pills. A whole lot was happening back then. And the understating of it makes it so much more powerful. The sound of Mom's heart ticking away in my ears. My accident that I couldn't even mention. Had to keep it a secret at the time because he thought, and for those of you who aren't super BTS fans and haven't heard him talk about it, when he finally started talking about his accident, what he said was, at the time, he had to, he told people he had fallen down the stairs, not that he'd been run over by a car, because he thought with the injuries he had sustained from it, he would get kicked out of the company. And what he said about it, and this is so sad, but one of the things he said about it was he knew he'd never be able to pay for college on his own. That staying in the company and being an idol was the way he was going to be able to get an education. And so he didn't tell anyone that his shoulder was messed up for a really long time and just suffered. And now he's talking about all these other things happening at the same time, that like, I got called during work about Dad's liver cancer. It just goes to show you don't know what's going on with people. And I hope I made the best decisions. He says, well, going through these images of basically trying to hurt himself, because they're also in the past now. All those decisions are also in the past now. Instead of pills, now it's almonds in his hand. So is all this countless suffering for my own good? What didn't kill me only made me stronger. And I begin to bloom like a lotus flower once again. Oh man, that was the brain there exploding. And all this is flashing through these images that like a lot happened. That was a very powerful image. The crawling as the floor tilts, exactly how it feels, like trying to climb yourself out of a dark space. I need a tissue. I came to this music video with like some expectations of what it was going to be about, but when Sugar goes raw and honest, he really just like lays it out there for you. He's not going to coddle our emotions. He's going to tell us. And how it is not pretty. It's not, I mean, you don't know what's going on with somebody and what they're dealing with on the inside, as opposed to what's happening on the outside in this face of the person that you see all the time. It's never what's happening with them, you know? Especially, and as he went over it in Hagam, like, we're living in this fast-paced information age where everything is very curated, everything is very like propaganda, everything is trying to make you buy something and trying to flood you with information all the time. But all of it is so surface level, it's just distracting us. And so we're not seeing that there are so many things happening to a person, to people all the time on the back end of it, and people suffering because they can't break out and no one notices necessarily. And you know, in order to sustain and have a career like being part of BTS, he felt he had to suffer with just unspeakable grief and pain, and deal with circumstances that are they're enough to suck a person under, you know? And he's just admitting like he almost got sucked under more times than maybe we understood. This is really like, it's dark and it's heavy, but it's also like, it's nice to hear someone say it almost. I think that's the one thing about someone kind of at that level sharing the really dark, hard parts of their past in a really honest way like this, is that you almost need to hear it to like recognize and process it in yourself, right? Let's just go back just a little ways. I want to rewatch this whole part actually. So we're just gonna rewatch like quite a bit, sorry. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, so 나를 구해줘, so 나를 구해줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, so 나를 꺼내줘, so 나를 꺼내줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala. 이곳을 신고해줘, 아주 빨리 꺼내줘. 그래 참 별의별 일이 많았지. 길가에 넘친 듯이의 소리. 전하지 못했던 내 사고 소식 가스켓줄 중에 걸려 언제나 아버지의 가난 소식. 최선의 선택들이 맞아 섞일. 그 또한 모두 지나가 버렸길. 그래서 이 수많은 고통을 날 위한 것일까. 그러면 그 시련을 날 죽지 못하고 다시 끝나는 영도적 피워내. 최선들의 선택, 최선들의 선택, 최선들의 선택, 최선들의 선택, 최선들의 선택, 선택, 선택. 원치 않던 애들, 원치 않던 애들, 손대밖에 애들, 손대밖에 애들. 집어넣자 한걸, 그래 한걸, 그래 한걸. I don't know. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, so 나를 구해줘, so 나를 구해줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, so 나를 꺼내줘, so 나를 꺼내줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala. 이곳을 신고해줘, 아주 빨리 꺼내줘. Was that his past self realizing and coming to try to save the personification of the depressed self instead of getting hit by the car running back? Was that what that was at the end, or was that just another moment not being able to save somebody in his life? This is what we have cats for, to just be here at the end to cheer everyone. Look at those toe fuzzes. Zuko has some of the best toe fuzzes. You're not happy like that? Okay. You're here for comfort, though. That was extremely heavy and very honest and raw from Agust from Suga. I did a reaction to the last, which I think is one of his most beautiful raps, I think. It goes really deep into that fact that he was so depressed at one point in his life. And this one then basically takes all of the like lyricism of that song, strips it straight raw, and is like, let me just feed you this horrible, dark, sad emotion. Let me just have you feel what I feel in the fewest words, and yet like the deepest penetrating feeling. He put out 3 very vastly different songs, and this one too, just that like almost this cry for help and this acknowledgement that like this is in the past and this happened and it can't necessarily save your past self, right? But you can almost try, you can almost wish to, or you do wish to. You wish you could just be the self that you were before all of that happened, the innocent, happy person you once were. And maybe you can again. The suicide idea, the scar is a bit like, oh, it's dramatic, you know. I knew someone who did that to themselves. Like it's not that outside of the reality of what someone who is suffering thinks of in order to just, I hate the term cry for help, because like when you cry for help, it's because you need help. You need assistance. And if you're crying for help, then people weren't listening, weren't there for you previously. But it has such a like negative connotation, like that somehow cry for help is like a pathetic thing. You shouldn't pity someone who's suffering. You should want to help them. That was really heavy. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It's one of his best songs. I think, yeah, Hagum and Deshata are much flashier music videos, and yet this one was incredible. It was exactly what being at your darkest point is like. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. But let me know what you think. I post videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm working on doing bunch of videos today because I'm going to be taking my books down, unpacking them, and moving. I'm gonna like need a minute. So I'll talk to you again later. Bye.